Hey, hello. You're stuck in traffic with Wolf Gorlick, couple-minute riff on IT and IT security. So over the weekend, I hosted a dinner party for a dozen people. Which is a lot of people. And it was interesting. It was a fascinating exercise in trying to make a Spartan apartment that I'm rarely in because I travel a lot into something hospitable. But most of my stuff is dual purpose, right? So the table extends out. I got leaves and I got stuff that can be used in other ways, you know. And for example, who knew that that a ice bucket would make a lovely flower arrangement? Not me. That wasn't me. But it did, and it worked. And it had me thinking about the power of flexibility, the ability to reuse, repurpose, and flex with your equipment is really critical in terms of delivering value and meeting whatever challenges you run into, be it a 12 people dinner party or a disaster recovery scenario, for example. One of the disaster recovery environments I set up was built just on this premise. So the way it worked was it was a hot site, meaning active on both sides. The way we set it up was that the DR environment was a mirror production with similar hardware, and it ran day-to-day our QA environment. So production was replicated to DR. DR was executing QA, and with the flip of the switch, QA powered down and that same hardware rebooted onto the production copies. And that allowed us to very flexibly resume services and maintain similar hardware for production and DR and QA at a fraction of the cost, which is pretty dang cool, as well as making sure that everything still works. If you look at a lot of DR environments, the number one thing that happens is because they're down, not used very often, is that this server doesn't boot up when you need it, or someone has stolen the cable, yada, yada, yada. We did the exact same thing with the physical space. So the physical space was by day a training environment with dedicated computers along the walls and dedicated terminals and seats. And with a flip of a switch, the people from headquarters who need to execute critical business processes will come down, boot up, and this environment was now running a copy of their local desktop environment. Exactly the same IT, exactly the same files, exactly the same data. That ability to repurpose meant that we could use that space and get a lot of value out of that space during normal hours, just like we could use the equipment for DR during normal hours and get a lot of value out of it. But during a DR environment, respond. So the question for you is, what ways can you repurpose the existing equipment you have? In what ways do you have equipment that is sitting idle, ready for an event that could be used on a day-to-day basis to provide additional services, additional testing, what have you? In what ways do you have a nice bucket that can be used for a flower pot? Check it out, think about it, and let me know in the comments. Thanks so much.